it has been since forever that I sat down in front of this camera and tried to record anything. I started, y'all, like it was just yesterday that I was saying Merry Christmas and freaking Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. It is literally Mother's Day, and of course, Happy Mother's Day to all my girls, all my moms, and it's just, it even feels weird being in front of the camera because it's been that long. By the way, oh my gosh, I got my nails done like yesterday, and it came out so freaking pretty, which I don't know why it's not picking it up, y'all. I actually switched phones just a couple days ago, and I am so upset because I'm having the hardest time dealing with the camera. And on top of that, I kind of didn't really pay attention to the fact that the charger was different. And usually when I record the videos, I bought my freaking microphone just for that, and now I can't even use it because it can't, like, it does not fit. And on top of that, I can't even buy the adapter because it doesn't transmit the audio. Like, a whole mess, and I'm so upset because that just made the whole difference in these videos. And like, now I hope y'all don't get bothered by the sound because I feel like I've been trying to record this video forever, and it just keeps picking up the weirdest background noises, and it does not like blur or mute anything in the background off. So hopefully y'all are not catching too much of that. But y'all, like, I'm trying to show y'all like my nails, like it doesn't pick it up. Like, even in my videos from the back camera, it does not pick up anything. Like, it has the hardest time focusing. So I did make a short though, so if you want to actually see these a little bit more up close, they are in my shorts. I am so freaking in love, and I don't know why the camera doesn't pick it up, but it's not a white tip, it's actually a baby pink, like French tip, and they are so pretty. They are my favorite set till now, but I do think I got them a little bit long, so every time I'm like, I'm gonna try to get them like a perfect decent size, I end up like realizing they're just too long. But yeah, I'm freaking in love with these, and y'all, I wish I could have these forever. But aside from that, y'all, how have y'all been? Like, how are y'all doing? What are y'all planning for Mother's Day? To be quite honest, I have been going through a lot of stuff. I couldn't even plan anything for Mother's Day because everything was just turned upside down for me. But today I was just going to share with y'all like a quick story time of something that happened at freaking work, y'all. And I've heard of stuff like this happen before at places like my job, and I actually had one of the ladies that trained me when I first started this job tell me a story like this. But to actually be there in the moment is so weird and awkward and embarrassing. And I'm just like, I have to share it with y'all because you never really think of it happening until you're like, when you start working at certain places, you're just like, at least me, I'm like, I wonder what crazy stories people have working here, or like things that happen that you're just like shocked to hear. So let me tell y'all, like, I have been on vacation this whole week basically, and I don't know why I coordinated my days off to work basically like a day in between my days off, which was so of me. It was like the worst idea ever because I ended up working like 2 days from the whole week, and it was in between my days off. So it was so annoying, and I just didn't realize it until I saw the schedule. So I was just like, whatever, I'm not even gonna switch that. But y'all, so today is Friday. I have been off for the past days, and today I went in. Y'all, I went in and I was going to be working with someone else today. So they came in, we opened, we were doing some paperwork, and then it was pretty slow, honestly. And then in the morning, after, I want to say like around 10, it started getting really busy here. And I don't know if I've said this before, but I work in property management. I work in several locations for the company, but a lot of the time, when I do have like days where I have to take care of certain things for like the company, which it's not every day, all day. There's certain times throughout the month where we will go out and inspect certain things at properties. And by that, I mean, I work for a storage company, and we do like building inspections and stuff like that, especially around this time because they have state auditors and corporate auditors around the area, and just to make sure that everything is up to par. So this is one of those times where, well, not this, but like it is around that time where we're doing stuff like that, going around checking properties. And today I had to inspect my own property, and super random, but I just had to pause the video because I noticed there's, I don't know if you could tell, there's a green hue right here that is throwing me off. And this is like the freaking third time that this happens, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I just got this phone a couple days ago, and I've been having this issue. Like, it'll appear just in this spot right here. And I'm just gonna have to cut the video off and see if I can restart it, because this right here has been happening and I'm not sure what it is. Okay, so hopefully y'all are not able to see that green hue anymore. I don't even know, I don't understand what that's all about. But as I was saying, so today my property had to be inspected, and y'all, I was like, let me go into half of the property, and then like maybe I can finish the rest off with my coworker. And for some freaking reason, this one time, like, I was like, actually, let me just wait for him and we can do it together and get it over with, which we usually never do, because a lot of the times he'll either do half and I'll do half, or sometimes I'll just do it all while he does like the paperwork and stuff like that, just to get it like ahead. Well, this time we actually ended up going throughout the property together, and it was around that time where it was actually starting to get busy. But I have very, very long driveways, and a lot of the times, like, the main building that gets busy doesn't get busy until like 2, 3 afternoon, and then later after that. In the mornings, a lot of the times it's just like either new people or it's like people that are quick in and out. But I did not pay attention. A lot of the times I do pay attention to cameras and stuff like that, and I pay attention to who's coming in and out of the properties. So I did not pay attention this time. I was just like, it's Friday, you know, people are gonna be in and out, and maybe if it's because of the holidays too, it might not be a lot of people, and if they are, it's just gonna be quick in and out. So I was just like, this should be an easy day, you know, we might as well just do it together. I don't think there's gonna be a lot to do afterward. So y'all, we start heading out, right? And we just end up inspecting the parking lot. We inspected the actual office building, and we inspected like entrances, signs, and then we start locking up. We're walking through like the very first part of the building. Y'all, tell me why we're walking towards the middle of my property, and we're just like looking and seeing that there's like a car that's right in front of the door of like one of the units that is like empty basically. But we didn't really think anything, because a lot of the times like people will come in and they'll just park however anywhere, but it's like quick in and out, you know, unless it's like certain people that are coming in for like business things and all that. So we didn't really think anything of it. We were just like, let's go around it, and then we will come back and hopefully they're gone, because we have to inspect certain like units, and there was one there that we had to inspect, but we actually had to open it, inspect the whole building, and make sure that there was like everything good inside. So y'all, tell me why we're like passing by and I'm just like just looking because it seemed like there was movement inside the car. But yes, like there was movement inside of the car, but at the same time it was like, people come in here, they're moving things in and out. So, it's pretty normal type of thing. Well, we continue on. We go through the property, we go inside of the actual buildings, we inspect the back, we inspect like the walls, we do everything we have to. And then we're like, on the way back, we're going to go through that middle building that we skipped. Yeah. So we're going through the back and it's pretty hard to hear anything unless you're like right near it because the walls are so solid that you can't really hear much. Tell me why. If I had a penny for every time I'm saying that, I know, but I just still am in disbelief that I actually had to experience this when it's like crazy, because who in their right mind does stuff like this? But anyways, so we're passing through the building and we're like, okay, let's go through this side because there's two sides to it. We start walking, y'all, and we're hearing, the closer that we get, we're hearing like weird noises. And by that I'm talking about like, y'all, it was like it was like little cat purrs. Let me just say that it was so weird. It was just so weird that like we were not expecting it. And then it kind of sounded like trash bags, like those crunchy like paper trash bags that you get like sometimes, well, where you get like from drive-throughs and stuff like that when you get the food, like the McDonald's bags. It sounded like someone was crunching them up. Y'all, like we forcefully have to walk properties when we're doing inspections. It does not matter who's there. So tell me why we start walking that way. And we start to notice that the unit that we had to inspect that was empty, and it was supposed to be empty because obviously we check the whole paperwork and all that right before we head out to the properties. And it was supposed to be empty. And tell me why we see it midway open and the car was still parked right in front of it. Yeah, we're walking towards it and all we start to hear is like a scramble in there and like the weird noises. So we're just like, again, like this green hue, if you can see it, just ignore it. I don't know what's up with that. But y'all, like we're going through and we can hear that there's people inside of the unit. And at that moment, like we looked at each other, me and my coworker, and we were just like, oh my gosh, like don't tell me basically that it is well, I think it is. And we were both wondering that. And we literally stared and we were like, what do we do? Because y'all, we go over there, we actually have to open the door. We open the freaking door to this unit and there's two people with zero stuff on the floor. Keep in mind this is concrete floor with dirt and like freaking bugs and stuff like that because it's outside, and they're just on the floor like that doing what you can imagine. Yeah, that was the weirdest experience I have had in such a long time. And it was like, it had me in disbelief where I was just like, I don't know what to say. And I just told my coworker, I was like, I looked at him and I was just like, I'm gonna step over here for a second because I was in disbelief. So my coworker is a guy. As soon as I said that, he literally walked to the side, and he just kind of like, he kind of just walked there, and he was just like, like, you guys have to leave. And like, we were talking to them from like outside of the door because it was that weird. And yeah, like, these people literally were so calm, acting like this was the most normal thing you could do. And I was in shock. I was just like, there is no way, like, you guys are customers here and y'all are doing this knowing y'all are gonna come back here, and there's cameras everywhere. Like, there is cameras 360 in this working property. That is insane. So like, obviously we were like asking them questions and telling them like, we're gonna call the cops. Like, this is absolutely a no. You cannot be here. If you are a customer already here, we're gonna go ahead and evict you. This is not something you could do like ever. Why would you think it's okay? So y'all, like, as these people are like trying to, get it together, put their stuff on, this is gonna be TMI. But would y'all believe, as this is in, I'm still in shock trying to tell this, like, because you would never actually think that you would witness something like this. Y'all, oh my gosh. When they get up, because they were laying on the concrete, when they get up, y'all, and they're walking out, all you see is a smear of something brown on the floor mixed with something red, y'all. Oh my, I don't even want to fully tell y'all what it was, and I hope y'all know what I'm getting at. If you're a girl, you know what I'm saying. Y'all, there was a trail of red where she was coming from, and there was brown with it. And I'm not talking about a liquid. It was a liquid, a red liquid, and a brown solid. I was so shocked. I was so shocked and disgusted. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't even know how to look at them. I was just like, I didn't know how to react. And my coworker was just like looking to the side. Yeah, like, he was avoiding looking at everything the whole time. And as soon as I'm like looking at them leave, he turns around and looks inside. Y'all, this guy throws up. He throws up in the freaking corner of where he was standing on the outside of the door. Oh my gosh, y'all, like, I could not even begin to process how everything was playing out, and I was just like, I didn't know what to say. I was telling him like, are you okay? Like, do you need something? I was shocked. And we were all like reacting so slow because it was just so random and weird, y'all. And come to find out, y'all, these people had just started like renting in this property. They had just like got a unit to store their stuff in it. Y'all, they had just moved in a couple of days ago to the unit next to the one where they were doing this awful stuff. Who does that? And then like, we're just like obviously having to ask them, and even if they don't want to answer, we gotta find out one way or the other, like, why they're here, how they ended up here, all that stuff. Because at this point, like, you have to get your stuff and go. Like, you're not allowed to come back on the property grounds at all, not ever. So we're like asking them questions and stuff like that. And y'all, these people were acting like they were doing the most normal thing you could possibly do. It was so awkward and weird. Like, what is happening? I've seen so many crazy things these days that it's just, I can't even process what's happening in the world, to be honest. And I'm just like, honestly, I didn't even want to deal with them because it was that disgusting. It was gross, nasty. Like, you're weird. Y'all are random. Like, who does that? So, like, we're just trying to get the info, y'all. And, like, we just walked away. We literally went straight back into the office. And we were just like, okay, well, we're going to have to call, obviously people that are above us and let them know what's happening, because we're gonna have to give them papers, and evict them legally to get them out of here. But in the whole process of that, like, we find out, they had just got, and paid for the unit, or like the space, literally a couple days ago. They just moved their crap in there too, so now y'all gotta get all this stuff and dip out of here. Like, that is the weirdest thing if someone could ever do and think it's okay. So, y'all, we do all that and stuff like that. And on the way out, like, these people literally didn't even bother saying sorry or nothing. They were just like, okay, okay, we're gonna leave. No, sorry, no, I'm so sorry we did this, we're so embarrassed. Nothing. So, like, y'all, like, that threw me off the entire day. I was just like, I can't believe what happened today. I can't believe I experienced and witnessed something like that. I was just so shocked. I was like, I don't know. I don't know, like, how to feel about it, y'all. Like, and then, like, to have to see these people again because I have to hand them, like, documentation. I just can't. Like, I'm still in disbelief having to tell this. So, y'all, like, if I had to freaking witness this, y'all, like, I just had to share this story because that's insane. But y'all, it has been an eventful day to say the least. So, I'm so done. Like, I'm just ready to head to bed and call this freaking day out. Like, it's been a hell of a day, to be honest. But that's really much there is to this story. I know it was super quick, and that's just crazy. Like, how do people go around doing things like this? And especially if you have a home, obviously, like, why would you be out here doing this reckless stuff? So it's just crazy to me, honestly. I don't even know. And, well, I don't know, y'all. Like, it's just crazy to me, the stuff that some people do these days. But that is really all I had to say. I just had to share that, get that out, because I was like, I need to tell somebody. So, thank you so much if you stick to the end, and I will definitely see you in the next story time.